Hey guys, welcome back to Daisy Crochet, or welcome if you're new. In today's video, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to crochet this bow garland. It's super cute. We made ours last year for Valentine's Day, and we have it up again this year, so it's so cute, and I can't wait to show you guys how to make it. Before we start, I do want to say a few things. So first off, this is going to be a pretty quick and easy way to make the bow garland. It's very simple and quick. So I really like the way it looks, but you might notice that on ours, the ends of the bows are a little curled. That's partially because they've been sitting in a box for a year because it's our Valentine's Day decor, and we just haven't adjusted it at all. But also, I'm going to tell you a few things you can do if you don't like that look and you want your bows to be straighter. But me and Fiona personally do like that look. So it's whatever you guys want. And now let's just get into the things you guys are going to need to make this. The first thing that you're going to need is a 5mm hook. I'm going to talk more about the hook size in a second, but the next thing that you're going to need is some yarn. This is a Wait For acrylic yarn. I do like using acrylic for these, but honestly anything will kind of work. Yeah, this one is just Wait For, and I'm using burgundy so I can add it to the garland I already made. But you guys can do whatever color combo you want, whether it be for Valentine's Day, Christmas, or just as decor. I used 3 colors to make my bow garland, so I did pink, white, and burgundy, and you just do a pattern of each of them. But again, you guys can do whatever you want for this. And the other things you'll need are a pair of scissors and a little darning needle for weaving in the ends of the bows. That's all we're going to be needing for this tutorial, but I did just want to mention a few things. So first off, one thing you guys can do, even if you follow this pattern exactly, is you can steam or block the bows if you want the ends to be straighter. I personally did not do that, and I don't think it's necessary at all, but if you want to, you definitely can. Another thing you can do if you want them to be a little bit looser, especially depending on your tension, I have pretty tight tension, you can size up your hook to a 5.5 or even a 6 and use the same yarn. And another thing you could do is use a thicker yarn and a bigger hook, and that would give you a chunkier bow, but it also might be a little bit less like stiff. So it just depends on what kind of look you're going for, but this is personally how I really like to do it. Now that we have our materials, we are going to get into how to make the bow for the bow garland. So we're going to take our hook and we're going to make a slip knot. And I always kind of say when I'm doing tutorials that they are beginner friendly, but they aren't teaching you how to crochet. So if you don't know how to crochet at all and you're just coming here without any past experience at all, maybe go watch a how to crochet video. We have one on our channel if you're interested, because it'll help you out a lot with the tutorial. But I will explain how to do the stitches and everything, especially because this is a very quick tutorial. So the first thing that you're going to do is make a slip knot. You can make a slip knot on or off the hook. I like to do it on the hook. It's just how I always have done it. And then once you have your slip knot, we are going to chain 75. That is the length I like for my bows. We tried out like 50 last year, but they were a little small. So if you want them a little larger, you could do maybe 80, 85, but I personally like to do 75, and then we will end up with only 74 stitches. So I'm going to chain 75. And I'm just going to check and make sure I have 75, because although it doesn't really matter if you're 1 or 2 off, you do want your bows to kind of be all the same size just to make it look better. So I'm going to double check and make sure I have 75 chains. Okay, now that I have my 75 chains, we are going to be working into the chain normally, and we are going to be making half double crochets. So you are going to start by yarning over, and we're going to be working into the second chain from the hook. So not this one right beside the loop on our hook, but the one right here beside that. So 1, 2. So we're going to insert our hook into that chain, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all of the loops on our hook. So I'm gonna do that a few more times. So yarn over, go into the very next chain, insert your hook, yarn over, and pull up a loop, and then you're gonna yarn over and pull through all 3. And that is how you do half doubles. So we're going to be doing half double crochets all the way down this chain for a total of 74 half doubles. And I'm just going to kind of do this on screen here. I might speed it up a little bit. And then when I'm done, I will come back and we will talk about your next steps. Okay, so I just finished up my row of 74 half doubles. This is what it looks like. And now that we're done this, I am going to chain and cut off the yarn. And I'm going to leave like a decent tail, just about that much maybe. And I'm just going to weave that back into the project. So I'm going to take my darning needle and I'm going to weave in both of these ends. And I'm going to weave it into the back of the bow. It honestly doesn't really matter for this because the back may end up being at the front anyway, but I just find it a little easier to weave it through the back. So I'm just going to put my needle through the stitches at the back and pull the yarn through. You just want to make sure your needle doesn't like poke through at any points too much through the front, or else it will probably like not stay because it won't be like woven in, if that makes sense. So I always put my needle in and like weave it through before I add the yarn for some reason. I feel like I don't want it to like fall off, you know. So I'm just going to do about that many and pull through. And then I'm just going to do a few more just until the strand of yarn is hidden, and if you cut like a bigger strand that you want to weave in, you can just cut it. I'm just gonna pull it out a little bit and cut off the rest because that is far enough. And then I'll just pull it a little bit to hide that loose end, and I'm gonna repeat that with this one. Another thing you could do if you're just making it for yourself and you don't want to weave in the ends, because I know it can be kind of annoying to weave in ends with like single row projects like this, you can cut the ends short and hot glue them like a little bit onto the back. I personally don't do that for these just because I think I'm okay with weaving in the ends, but for other projects that I'm making for myself, I definitely don't always do it just because sometimes it won't even really work with the projects that I make. So sometimes hot glue does come in handy for that. But I'm just going to cut off extra here and pull that, and now our ends are hidden. So you are going to make however many bows you need to go on the length of whatever you're putting it on. Me and Fiona did on our TV stand, as you guys saw. So we did a total of 10 bows. I'm also going to add this one to it. So there will be 11, but we did a total of 10, and we also started and ended with white. So there is basically 3 of each colored bow, but then there's an extra white, so there's 4 white. You don't have to do that if you don't want to, but whatever pattern works for you, however many work for you to get the length you want. But me and Fiona did 10. I'm now going to show you guys how to tie the bows. So this is what you're going to do to your first bow, but then I'll also show you how to attach them to the other bows. So start with your bow like flattened out and grab one of the ends. I like to do like the right side, and leave as long of like an end as you want for the like end of the bow, the bottom part, and make a loop. Then you want to take this part in your left hand and wrap it around, and then once it's wrapped around, you want to take this extra and put it through the bottom. See, I put my thumb through here and then just feed it through that loop we made, and then you're just going to want to pull out that second loop, and then try and make the bottom strings just as even as you can, but it doesn't really have to be perfect, and you can adjust them and try it again if you're not happy with it the first time. But yeah, I'm gonna kind of pull it a little bit, get it how I want, and I think we make the center of ours quite tight, but if you want it to be looser and have more of like a defined middle, that works too. So that is pretty much how we make our bows. And then I'm gonna go grab the rest of my bow garland and show you guys how to attach the bow to the rest. Okay, I have brought in the rest of our garland, and again, this has been sitting in a box and hasn't been adjusted, but they are pretty easy to just quickly adjust like once they are all attached, and I think it's super cute. So I'm going to take apart this bow and act like this bow is this bow. So hopefully that makes sense, but you're going to start with one and then add on another and just continue that. So I'm going to take apart this one just to show you guys. So we're going to start on whatever end you want, and I'm going to feed the end through the bow, and I'm just going to pull it out to like however long I want that end to be. You can also measure it up against the last one if you want to, and then just kind of start here, and we're going to make a loop. So we'll kind of go upside down, but it will end up being right side up. So this is just how I do it, but you're going to wrap it around and then pull it through the back. If you pull it through the back, it just kind of ends up being a little bit like cleaner on the front, but it doesn't really matter. Whatever's easiest and looks best to you. And then I'm just gonna flip it to the right side and start adjusting it. So I'm going to kind of pull it like I was doing before, and you're just gonna try and get the loops even and the ends even. And you also kind of want to tighten that center if that's what you're going for. If you want it to be looser though, that's also fine. And that is how you add a new bow. So I'm going to actually add this one to the other side because this pattern, as you can see, has burgundy, white, and burgundy. So I'm going to take it off this side and attach it to the other side, and you can attach it to either side. It just might change how you actually attach it just a little bit. And for this side, it's helpful if you overlap it on the front rather than like this on the back, and then wrap it around. I like to wrap it around my fingers just to have something there, and then pull it through. So put it on this side, or else if you put it on this side, it will come out like this and be like, I don't know, like that. So put it on this side, grab it and pull it through the opposite side, and then just pull it tight and make adjustments so that it's all even how you want it. And that is how we attach on the other side. So as you can see now, it's a little bit of a better pattern for me with the pink, white, and then the burgundy. And I think this bow garland is just so cute. It's perfect for our Valentine's Day display, and you can see how like once you've been using it for a while, the ends kind of curve, but I think that is so cute, and I kind of wish like all of the ends kind of did that. They kind of do after some time. So this is why I said it's personal preference based off of like what you want them to look like. You can even kind of curl them on purpose if you want to. But yeah, I really like this method of doing the bow garland, and I hope you do too. Let me know if you make this, what occasion you're making it for, or where you're gonna put it. And I really hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Let me know if you have any questions as well in the comments, and I'll be sure to answer them as best I can. And if you liked the tutorial, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to see more videos like this one. Fiona and I are planning on doing a lot more tutorials this year. We know you guys love them. So I really hope you enjoyed this one, and stay tuned for more coming very soon. Thank you guys so much for watching once again, and I will see you next time. Bye!